Hello everybody, Alex here. Welcome to my Finance and Accounting Education channel here on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about a sector we have already been talking about before, namely about the semiconductor sectors or the chips or the processors. I'm linking right now let's say that the first video that I did on this sector, in case you find it interesting, but there were some events recently in January, exactly at the end of the January, which drew my attention because such events, first of all, don't happen very often, and we can see somehow how the factors which are not really related to the market or the products in themselves or the companies can affect the entire sectors. Namely, we are going to talk about some political decision making which has affected, at least briefly, the semiconductors sector, and what happened actually at the end of January, in the last week of January. But before we jump right in, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and you will never miss an update on my site. I do them quite regularly these days. You should expect new and hopefully interesting videos from me on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and also on Sundays. And that being said, let's go right in. So we are talking about semiconductors update. So we have an update on semiconductors and how politics can influence entire sectors, sometimes across the globe. So on first day, the 27th of January, I was looking on Finviz. It's this chart which is capturing all the S&P 500 stocks and their evolution, which can give you let's say a grasp on what's going on. You can see how much green is there, and is it within the large companies, within the smaller ones, and within which sector, and so on and so forth. So it's quite from my point of view, a nice graphical representation of the evolution in the market. And what drew my attention back in the day was that while January in itself has been a crazy ride and there was a lot of red in the market for several days, on 27th of January the market somehow started to be mixed. Also, you can see in this chart there is also a lot of green. Microsoft, Amazon is on green from the large one. I don't know, MasterCard, PayPal, also in other sectors, Procter & Gamble, so in energy, Chevron, and so on and so forth. What drew my attention was that everything which was in semiconductors was in red, and not only the ones which are included in S&P 500, but also ASML, which is in Europe, TSMC, which is listed also on Nasdaq, but is not part of S&P 500. It is from Taiwan, Samsung, which is from South Korea, and so on and so forth. And then if you take a look at this chart, okay, we will have later, so maybe in 2 episodes we will have an update on the Tesla Q4 results, and we will talk what is it about, this minus 11.55%. But coming back to our point of interest for today, in the semiconductors everything was red, and quite substantially red. We had Nvidia minus 3.64, Intel minus 7.04, Qualcomm minus 3.47, AMD minus 7.33, and some other manufacturers as well. And as you can see, it's somehow concentrated. If you are looking all over the place, let's say the financial sector is also not doing very well, but you still have some greens. The real estate was also bad in that day, but we are not focusing on real estate. And also there is this small block here which is called technology, semiconductor, equipments and materials, which was also in applied materials, minus 4%, was also in a substantial red zone. And I was doing some sort of backtracking, basically trying to understand what's going on. Although I'm trying to keep myself informed and read the press and try not to miss anything which is important for my decisions and for investing, I must admit that this time this somehow flew under my radar and I didn't notice it. But I found out what was actually going on and why this specific sector plunged on 27th, and it's very interesting because we are going to CNBC. So we have an article from CNBC: House debuts long-awaited response to Senate's China competition semiconductor bill. So the article was published on January 26th, and it's making, so that's on Wednesday, and it's about things that happened on Tuesday. So basically the decision making was on Tuesday. It got into the press somewhere on Wednesday, and on Thursday the markets reacted. So let's see what is it exactly about. The House of Representatives on Tuesday debuted a bill designed to boost US semiconductor manufacturing and competition with China. The House bill is the long-awaited response to the $250 billion bill the Senate passed in June, known as the US Innovation and Competition Act. The House bill cuts out about $200 billion that the Senate included to reinforce US scientific research and technological innovation. So basically this is the problem, this $200 billion cut. Now, you might think, okay, if some investors moved away from this sector, it means that they came because of this change, which was supposed to happen and is no longer happening, or because of this expenditure. So you'd think that they came in June and now they went out. However, the markets are not that, let's say, that rational or objective as you might think, and we will see later why. The House of Representatives on Tuesday debuted a bill designed to boost US semiconductor manufacturing in competition with China, including $52 billion to support domestic chip research and production. Long story short, the largest manufacturer right now, it's TSMC, is in Taiwan, which is next to China, and is producing 50 to 60% of the entire semiconductors production, with the clear risk of being invaded. So Taiwan stands at this permanent risk of being invaded by China. Then you have Samsung, which is in South Korea, and Intel, which is very relevant in the United States. And you see that somehow let's say that the ASML, which is the supplier for all three of them, of these EUV machines, is in Europe. So let's say that from this point of view, economical and political risks, there are not that many, but you see that a lot of production is in Taiwan. That's risk for all the countries in the world. The House bill, called the America Competes Act, is the long-awaited response to the $250 billion bill the Senate passed in June, known as the US Innovation and Competition Act. While the House version matches the Senate sum to spur the domestic production of semiconductors, it cuts out about $200 billion that the Senate included to reinforce US scientific research and technological innovation. Today, the House takes action to transport our nation into the future with the America Competes Act, bold, results-oriented legislation that will strengthen America's national and economic security and the financial security of families, and advance our leadership in the world, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi from California said of the bill. The House legislation will supercharge our investments in chips, advance manufacturing at home, strengthen our supply chain, transform our research capacity, and advance our competitiveness and leadership abroad. Passage of the House bill is expected before March 1st. The House version includes $45 billion to support supply chain resilience and improve the nation's economy by preventing shortages of critical goods. That provision would subsidize the domestic production of critical goods and industrial machinery to ensure the US could maintain smooth supply chain operation if global trading routes were disrupted. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a chief author of the Senate's version of the bill, applauded the arrival of the House legislation but alluded to future discussion to resolve differences between the two bills. The introduction of the Vital America Competes Act of 2022 in the House is an important step forward to setting up a conference with the Senate-passed US Innovation and Competition Act, so we can quickly negotiate a final bill to the President to sign into law, Schumer from New York said a press release Tuesday evening. President Joe Biden has made the development of the protection of critical US supply chains a top priority since taking office. Many American industries have faced supply headaches over the past 2 years, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic that disrupted global production and shipping routes in Asia. Several sectors, but especially the auto industry, have reported chronic semiconductor shortages that have crippled the production of final products like phones and cars. Meanwhile, transportation and hospitality businesses say the virus and its variants have discouraged workers from returning to work, leading to ongoing labor shortages despite record job growth in 2021. Many lawmakers and administration staff say the legislation is also an effort to reduce the nation's reliance on Beijing for critical goods and rare earths. Biden said the US and China need to not have a conflict, but there is going to be extreme competition. The president on Tuesday said that the Senate and House bills represented a sort of transformational investment in our industrial base and research and development that helped power the United States to lead the global economy in the 20th century and expand opportunity for middle-class families. Together we have an opportunity to show China and the rest of the world that the 21st century will be the American century, forged by the ingenuity and hard work of our innovators, workers and businesses. Yeah, if you take only the political discussion, you would say that there is absolutely no reason why this would have happened, but somehow the markets saw that this disparity between the version from the House of Representatives and Senate as not a very good thing, and somehow the markets priced that in. However, let's just say that this is just a bump in the road. There is no reason to, let's say, to panic, to sell off and so on and so forth. I mean, if we are looking, nothing fundamentally changed in the sector. On October 12th, we were saying that the chip machine maker ASML will grow into a 500 billion business next year, tech investors predict. Also, the share of ASML took some beating in January, but the fundamentals are still there. So let's just think objectively and see that 2022 is still a chip shortage year, and if we are looking on the long term, so on a longer horizon, the usage of electronic devices will increase. They will be incorporated in more and more products, the semiconductors, the chips, and so on and so forth. So there is absolutely no fear or no let's say expected event in the future that can threaten the entire industry as such to justify such movements, as we have seen in on 27th of January. So it was only something let's say short-lived, and probably we will see some changes in the future. But however, it's nice to see how some political decision, which is neither very bad nor very good, but it's bringing some uncertainty in the market, can impact a sector which, from my point of view, is set to fly very, very high in the next years. Just remember, ASML is still the monopolistic manufacturer of these EUV machines that all the three large manufacturers, Intel, so starting from the largest one to the smallest one, TSMC, Samsung and Intel are using. From my point of view, I don't know which ones of them will come front, if Intel will regain its market dominance or not, if TSMC will still remain dominant in the market, and so on and so forth. All of them are announcing investments. Intel wants to invest in Italy. TSMC also wants to build the new production facilities. Samsung is set to have a collaboration with the Japanese government to build foundries or a foundry at least in Japan. So there are absolutely no bad news that are fundamental and are threatening this sector in order to justify such an event or the continuation of these drops in semiconductors prices. So let's just stick to long-term thinking, to global image, to global perspective, and we will see that from time to time there are some bumps in the road like these ones. There was some fire at some production facility of ASML in Berlin. Also was another bump in the road, but that's not changing the fundamentals completely, or at least not at all. And let's just say that what happened on 27th and what we have seen here, this threat in semiconductors and in equipments and terminals, is just a minor event in the grand scheme of things. That will be it for today about semiconductors. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I tried to somehow link the news with the evolution on the stock exchange, and to see that some things can be let's say at points can be surprising. If you like this video, please do not forget to hit the like button, to share it with somebody that might be interested about semiconductors. We didn't speak about the specific manufacturer. I have made references to ASML as the supplier of the manufacturers and the three top competitors, but this is not a company presentation. I've done several company presentations. You can find it within my videos. If you have something to add to the topic, please do not forget to comment in the comment section, and most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and you will never miss an update on my site. I do them quite regularly these days. On Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays you should expect new and hopefully interesting videos from me. Also below this video you have links. You can create an eToro account and trade their CFDs without a commission or a fee. CFDs are similar to shares, and while you are not really owning the shares, you can somehow invest in something which is related to the shares performance directly, and no matter how often you are doing it, if you are a day trader or somebody who's investing maybe a few times a year or once a month, not paying a commission or a fee is always a saving. Also below that link you have an Amazon wishlist with hardware and software items which can help me improve the quality of my videos, hence being beneficial also for you because you will get better videos from me. But let's just say that from financial perspective, the Amazon wishlist is the most inconvenient for you. The easiest way to support me remains to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and of course to continue to watch my videos, which I hope you find interesting and with a lot of educational content. I thank you today for your time and patience. Once again, my name is Alex Petrescu. This is my Finance and Accounting Education channel here on YouTube, and I look forward to presenting to you with the next opportunity. Goodbye.